London Pavlica gets all the way to the basket, beats the double team, and brings the Trailblazers within 3.
Yeah, and here, I don't think you actually need the 3. They haven't been shooting behind the arc well. They've been great in penetration, able to get those points in the paint. You've still got time. You go for that easy 2 bucket.
Good possession there for the Trailblazers. Referees are reviewing something. Don't know what they're reviewing. Maybe time on the clock, perhaps. I'm wondering if maybe Coach Gustin was trying to call a timeout, and after he'd called a timeout, maybe some time ran off the clock after he tried to signal for timeout. Maybe that's what they're looking at. Love to know that is what they're looking at. So going to add maybe some time back on. 34.8, they say. So they are going to give the Trailblazers a few more seconds. Now, here's the situation. Obviously, you need to get the ball back with 34.8 seconds. Even if you get a stop on the defensive end, you're maybe looking at 6 or 7 seconds, perhaps, and that's if you get the offensive rebound. You do have a timeout, and you can advance the ball to half court, but do you foul here, or do you just play the possession out and try to hope you get the ball back with enough time to make a three-pointer to try to tie it?
Well, you hope for that press. I mean, it worked out perfectly for them in the last possession. They haven't done well breaking the press. I think at some point, if they get through, you do want to commit the foul because the 3 ball hasn't been falling for them. They need time, I think.
And they do elect to foul. Couldn't get the steal on the inbounds pass, and London Pavlica commits the foul against Hannah Valencia, a 72% free throw shooter. Not the best person to foul. She's, in fact, one of the top free throw shooters on the team, and she'll go to the line for 2 free throws. Trailblazers now into the bonus. Valencia's first free throw is no good, off the back of the iron. Never know.
That's the Skyhawks' first miss from the free throw line.
First miss tonight from the free throw line after not shooting one in the second or third quarters. Valencia's second one is good. Crucial free throw by Hannah Valencia. And Allie Franks inbounds it to Mariah Martin. Got to go quickly for the Trailblazers. Mariah Martin fakes left, goes right, tries to penetrate. Picks up her dribble. London Pavlica penetrates. She'll give it to Kesley Stevenson. She'll try a 3. No good off the front of the iron. And Allie Franks tried to grab the offensive rebound, but commits the foul. Kesley Stevenson got a good look on the offensive end. A deep 3, but certainly one she's capable of knocking down. And just came up a little short on that one.
And luckily, Franks was able to get a foul quickly there, so not much time again off the clock.
Still a 2-possession game. You do have 2 timeouts if you're the Trailblazers, and you're putting Herrera on the line, a 63% free throw shooter. So at worst, it's going to be a 2-possession game, and she misses the front end of the free throws.
You do have 3 players in the backcourt for the Skyhawks ready to go on defense.
Got to go quickly. Don't necessarily need a 3, but you do need to get a bucket for the trip if you're the Trailblazers. And J.D. Gustin will call a timeout. And he will advance the ball. We'll keep it right here. 62-57. Trailblazers trail. 18 seconds remaining. They will have the ball at half court after they advance it. And you got to get something here. Obviously, you'd like to get a 3, but you got to get points here. If you go for the 3 and you make it, you're down by 2. You got to foul. Hopefully, they miss at least 1. At this point, I think you got to go for the 3. I looked for Kesley Stevenson or Allie Franks on the offensive end. Some sort of action, maybe a screen or a pin down to try to get one of them an open look.
Yeah, I agree. The 3 is kind of your must at this point. It's with time against you, and you're down 5.
So the Trailblazers in need of a miracle if they're going to win this one at home against the 4-9 Fort Lewis Skyhawks. Kesley Stevenson will inbound. She tries to find Franks, and that one just a botched play. The inbounds pass went right through Allie Franks' hands. Not what the Trailblazers had ordered up. Trying to find Franks in the left corner, but just, I don't know if it was an errant pass or just Franks missed it, but the Trailblazers turn it over and immediately foul on the other possession.
And unfortunately, again, another turnover. Turnovers really have hurt them, especially in a game that's become this close.
Hannah Valencia, she'll go back to the free throw line where she just made one, and she'll make the first. She's got just a pair of points, 2 free throws on the game. Her second one is up and rattles in. And the Trailblazers now down by 7, 15 seconds remaining. Morgan Myers on the other end comes off a screen. That's Mariah Martin. She'll try a three. She'll hit it. Mariah Martin hits a three. Trailblazers down 4. They'll foul Fortner. 6.6 remaining. Trailblazers now down 4. Aubrey Fortner, she is the one you'd want to foul. Just a 56% free throw shooter. But even if she misses 2, you still got to make 2 possessions. It's still a 2-possession game, barring a foul and a made 3 or something like that. With 6 seconds remaining and just 1 timeout. Not a whole lot of time as Fortner makes the first one.
And just goes back to the couple possessions ago, that turnover when you had advanced the ball, a good look when you're this close.
Aubrey Fortner makes both. And Mariah Martin, she brings it in the front court. Last second shot for 3, no good, off the front of the iron. And that'll do it. The Trailblazers fall in this one 66-60 against the 8-11 Fort Lewis Skyhawks. Fort Lewis now moves to 9-11 and 5-9 in the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference. Trailblazers will fall 10-8 and 6-8 in the RMAC Conference play. That'll do it for this one. As a reminder, the men's game we've got in just about a half an hour. They'll take on Fort Lewis as well. Should be a good matchup. We'll love to see you back for the men's game. We'll be back in about 60 seconds. We'll wrap up this game and then bring in the men's game in a 60-second timeout and back on the Trailblazer Basketball Network.
Are you facing foreclosure? Then come down to Megalo and Partners. We're a mortgage rescue company, and we can help you keep your house, provided you submit to our plans for galactic domination. No, I'm kidding.
If you're facing foreclosure, talk to the right people. Speak with HUD-approved housing counselors free of charge at 888-995-HOPE. Brought to you by NeighborWorks America and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Dixie State Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln at 145 West Hilton Drive in St. George and at stgeorgeford.com. Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln, your neighborhood Ford dealer, and the title sponsor for all DSU athletics on Radio Dixie 91.3. It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Welcome back inside Burns Arena. Trailblazers fall to this one 66-60 against Fort Lewis. The Skyhawks come into Burns Arena and still one away from the Dixie State Trailblazers. This is the Camping World post-game show. We'll get a quick post-game show for you and then get you ready for the men's game. Recap this one. I mean, obviously Trailblazers had a tough first half, turned the ball over a dozen times, and really didn't get any much better from there. They did show a little bit of energy there late in the fourth quarter and eventually got a 13-point lead down to as low as 3, but couldn't get over the hump, as it were, and they lose this one 66-60.
Yeah, and really, I think this one goes back to the 10-0 start for the Skyhawks. They started out strong, and Dixie State just couldn't recover and catch up.
You know, obviously when a 4-9 team comes into town, you know, a team with a losing record like that, maybe you lose a little bit of focus, thinking that, you know, they might not give you as much of a game. But obviously Fort Lewis, a very capable team, and they showed it here tonight. And I think, like you mentioned, they came out on that 10-0 run and really, you know, kind of punched the Trailblazers in the face, and I don't think the Trailblazers were really ready for it and really were never able to recover. I think offensively they struggled early on, getting their shot to go. Obviously that had a lot to do with the turnovers and the lack of offensive possessions, not really being able to get into a rhythm, you know, and never was able to get back over the hump. As far as some post-game stats go, Mariah Martin led the Trailblazers in scoring, 16 points for the sophomore guard, 15 points for Allie Franks, and 10 points from London Pavlica off the bench. She did a really good job in the first half and really throughout the game to bring energy to the Trailblazers. 10 points off the bench for her, a couple of steals as well. Morgan Myers had 9 points. She had 5 steals. She did a very good job defensively as well. Lisa Van Kampen had 5 points. Kessie Stevenson had 3. And Rochelle Blazard had 1 bucket for the Skyhawks. This one was really led by Sydney Candelaria, she was tremendous, especially down the stretch. Had a 1.7 straight baskets, really in a point of the game where it could have gone either way. The momentum was starting to shift for the Trailblazers, but she, on 3 consecutive possessions, had a layup, a 3-pointer, and then another a 15-foot jumper, and had a 7-0 run just by herself to really kind of negate any sort of momentum the Trailblazers had garnered in that stretch of time. She had 20 points to lead all scorers, 8 rebounds as well, 4 steals, just really fill up the box score. She was the biggest reason the Fort Lewis Skyhawks won this one.
I was going to say, not only on the offensive end, which she was strong, great 20 points also, but also on the defensive end. You say that's a game-high 8 rebounds, and that's where the Trailblazers were struggling, just couldn't get any stops, and she was a big part of that.
Trailblazers outshot the Skyhawks 47% to 44% for the game, but obviously the Skyhawks had many more possessions and got to the free throw line more. 13 of 16 from the free throw line. That was the key down the stretch. The Trailblazers had gotten it within 3, and they had to go to the resort to fouling, and the Fort Lewis did a good job of making free throws down the stretch, and a lot of times that's how you win ball games, is making free throws down the stretch, and they did just that. Let's award Kylie, I'm going to leave this up to you. Let's award a campus dining player of the game. Let's get someone from Dixie State. Who are you going to give that one out to tonight?
Definitely Mariah Martin. She was strong in both the first and second half, a team high 16 points, 6 for 10 from the field, and she just never gave up on both ends of the court. You saw a late 3-pointer there at the end, and really she was very aggressive. Also had 3 rebounds and 4 assists.
So there it is, your campus dining player of the game. As far as the Jimmy John's play of the game, I think you could give it to just about any of London Pavlica's plays. She had a few just nifty layups there in the second half, and then obviously played very, very well defensively. But that'll do it from this one. 66-60 final. Trailblazers lose this one to the Fort Lewis Skyhawks. We've got the men's game for you. A reminder, in about 15 minutes. We'll see you back then from this one. For Kylie Young, I'm Drayson Ball. We'll see you in just a minute.
That's the band Dose, an indie pop band from Los Angeles. It's Vermin. That's their latest. And they're currently on tour in Europe. They're going to perform in Italy this coming Sunday. So that's kind of cool. All right, after the break, it's Dave Matthews Band, Shinedown, and the Foo Fighters. That's Radio Dixie 91.3.
Radio Dixie 91.3 would like to thank AWI Networks. AWI has gone above and beyond in helping Radio Dixie 91.3 stay on the air. AWI provides high-speed internet service, dedicated wireless fiber, and digital phone services. AWINetworks.com, a proud supporter of Radio Dixie 91.3.
This is David with your Radio Dixie calendar for Friday, February 1st. At 3 p.m., there will be a NAMI on campus planning meeting and mental health presentation. At 4 p.m., there is a pagan audiology club meeting. At 5 p.m., there is a spring luau dance practice at the We Do building. At 5:30 p.m., there will be a women's basketball game versus Fort Lewis, located at the Burns Combo Building. At 7 p.m., there will be a Utah Music Educators Association conference located at the Echoes Building. At 7:30 p.m., there will be a celebrity concert series located at the Cox Auditorium. And at 7:30 p.m., there is a men's basketball game versus Fort Lewis. And that's your daily calendar on Radio Dixie 91.3.
I'm Kim Butterfield. I am a theater major, and this is Radio Dixie 91.3.
Did you notice on GTA 5 the radio plays the same songs over and over and... Hey, wait a minute. Radio Dixie 91.3.
know you're clinging to the light of day, to tell you everything's A-okay. And medication don't do much. Yeah, it just numbs the brain. Guess you might say I'm a little intense. I'm on the bright side of being hell-bent. So, take it from me, you're not the only one who can't see straight. If you were ever in doubt, don't sell yourself short. You might be bulletproof. Hard to move mountains when you're paralyzed, but you gotta try. And I'm calling out, get up, get up, move on. Get up, what's taking so long? Get up, move on. Stop stalling. I'm calling out, get up, move on. Get up, ain't nothing wrong. 'Cause I believe you can be whatever. And I agree you can do much better. Trust me. Everybody wants to sing their song. So Marvin Gaye, what's going on? Ain't nothing normal when it comes to you and me. I'd rather twist myself in knots and watch you give up on your dreams. If you were ever in doubt, don't sell yourself short. You might be bulletproof. Hard to move mountains when you're paralyzed, but you gotta try. So I'm calling out, get up, move on. Get up, what's taking so long? Get up, move on. Stop stalling. I'm calling out, get up, move on. Get up, ain't nothing wrong. 'Cause I believe you can be whatever. And I agree you can do much better. Trust me.
Yeah, I don't know why I never talk about it. I guess that's probably part of the problem. Yeah, sometimes you're wrong, sometimes you're right. I'm just gonna keep moving. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep moving. Today, tomorrow, and the next.
Move on. Get up, what's taking so long? Get up, move on. Stop stalling. I'm calling. Get up, move on. Get up, ain't nothing wrong. 'Cause I believe you can be whatever. And I agree you can do much better. Trust me.
Shine down, get up. It's Radio Dixie 91.3. On to music now from the Foo Fighters. They're going to be a part of the Super Bowl. Well, kind of. They're performing for DirecTV's big Saturday night before the Super Bowl concert thing. So anyway, if you have DirecTV, I guess you can see it. It's the Pretenders. It's Radio Dixie 91.3.
Keep you in the dark, you know they all pretend. Keep you in the dark, and so it all began.
It's time for Dixie State University Athletics on Radio Dixie 91.3 KXDS Santa Clara. DSU Athletics on Radio Dixie 91.3 is brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln, your neighborhood Ford dealer. We hear you. And now, it's time for DSU Athletics.
For this men's basketball contest against the visiting Skyhawks of Fort Lewis University, taking on the hometown Dixie State Trailblazers. Drayson Ball alongside Mike Olson, bringing you this one about 2.5 minutes away from tip-off. The Skyhawks come into tonight's contest 9-10 overall in the season and 4-9 in the RMAC, led by a 6'5" senior forward from Rock Island, Illinois, and Markel Beasley at just over 17 points per game. Mike, obviously, as we jump into the Dats Trucking pregame show quickly, what do the Trailblazers got to do to shut down Beasley?
Well, Beasley's a very strong post, and a lot of their offense goes through Beasley, either inside or outside. He leads the team in field goals attempts. He's taken 227 shots to date, so a lot of their offense goes through him. So if you can eliminate his touches, get him uncomfortable, get him out of his rhythm early, that'll be a big factor in Dixie's defense tonight.
On the other end, for the Trailblazers, Matt Conway, the leading scorer at 17.7 points per game. Conway really became a key part of this Trailblazer offense in the recent stretch, including that 4-game road sweep they had last 2 weekends. And Conway going to be a big factor for the Trailblazers in tonight's contest.
Well, he's definitely Mr. Consistency, right? He's the guy that gets him in the rhythm. He's the guy they look to early in the game to get things going, and Matt Conway does a phenomenal job of getting to the free throw line and being patient, letting the offense come to him. So you're right on there, Grayson. It's going to be important for him to get a good start and get established very early.
Should be a good one. Should be a high-scoring game. Both teams averaging over 70 points. Looked for a high-scoring affair in this one, 74 points per game for the Trailblazers compared to 77 for the Skyhawks. RMAC conference tournament implications on the line for this one, at least for the Trailblazers, sitting in that 8th spot as we go forward. A crucial victory tonight could help them in that stretch down the stretch. As we go into our Mountain America, our Lonnie Boys Barbecue starting lineups. We'll start. I'll do it with the Fort Lewis Skyhawks, and then we'll give it to Mike for the Trailblazers starters. On the guard line, number 2, a 6'5" senior from Fort Collins, is Alex Simadani. Number 12, a 6-foot junior from Surprise, Arizona, is Creed Johnson. On the front line for the Skyhawks, number 13 from Edmonton, Alberta, a 6'8" senior, Otis Iakapolar. Number 15, Markel Beasley, is, like we mentioned, the 6'5" forward from Rock Island. And then rounding out the top 5 for the Skyhawks, number 22 from Ignacio, Colorado, a 5'11" redshirt freshman, is Wyatt Hayes. And now we'll get you the starting lineups for the Trailblazers after we do the national anthem. We'll be back in 60 seconds on the Trailblazer Basketball Network.
Dear friend, you've helped me study my way through school. When I thought I was alone, you were right there. When times are tough, you were there to lean on. And when nobody would listen, you always said, tell me. Then came the time when you said you had a mental health problem. Well, my friend, as you always said you would be there for me, I'm here for you. Together, we will recover.
To learn more about mental health problems, go to whatadifference.samhsa.gov/native. This message is brought to you by the Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Dixie State Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln at 145 West Hilton Drive in St. George and at stgeorgeford.com. Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln, your neighborhood Ford dealer, and the title sponsor for all DSU athletics on Radio Dixie 91.3. It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
My name is Ruth Rusi. I volunteer with United Way, reading to children to help prepare them for a better academic future. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer. Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Dixie State Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln at 145 West Hilton Drive in St. George and at stgeorgeford.com. Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln, your neighborhood Ford dealer, and the title sponsor for all DSU athletics on Radio Dixie 91.3. It's back to the action for DSU athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Look back inside Burns Arena, just a few minutes away from tip-off. On the other side of the break, I gave you the starting lineups for the Fort Lewis Skyhawks, and now the starting lineup for the hometown Dixie State Trailblazers. Over to Mike Olson. He'll give you those starters.
Starting at point guard, I got number 10, 6'3", Jack Pagankoff. Number 12, 6'3", Zach Frampton. And Andre Wilson getting the start. Number 20, Andre Wilson, junior guard. And number 22, Matt Conway. And starting at the 5 tonight will be big Julian Ducree. Gets a nod early for the Dixie State Trailblazers.
Bringing in Julian Ducree to try to slow down the 6'8" senior Otis Iacopola. That's a mouthful, but Julian Ducree gonna try to limit Iacopola's touches. He averages over 10 points per game in this one. And Trailblazers coming to this matchup, like I mentioned, 7-6 in that 8 slot in the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference. We'll try to keep you up to date with scores from around the conference and throughout tonight's matchup. Skyhawks are coached in his 4th season by Bob Pytrak, and obviously long head coach John Judkins in his 26th season as head coach and 14th overall here at Dixie State University. We'll take one more quick 60-second timeout and be back for tip-off on the Trailblazer Basketball Network.
Pay down the bills. Oh, buy some new work clothes.
Oh, the things you could do with some extra money, right? Well, if you make less than $49,000, maybe you have some waiting for you at the IRS.
You're kidding, right?
With the Earned Income Tax Credit, some working people get as much as $5,700 back when they file their taxes and claim the credit. See if you qualify at www.irs.gov/EITC.
Tune up the car, go to night school, fix these broken glasses, start a vegetable garden.
You can stop
my
now.
Computer. I'd upgrade it.
You're listening to Dixie State Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln at 145 West Hilton Drive in St. George and at stgeorgeford.com. Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln, your neighborhood Ford dealer, and the title sponsor for all DSU athletics on Radio Dixie 91.3. It's back to the action for DSU athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Time in this matchup with Fort Lewis Skyhawks and the Dixie State Trailblazers. Quick keys to the game, if we do, quick Mountain America keys to the game. Mike, what do you got for us?
Number 1 has got to be team defense, and that's going to include transition. Dixie's got to get back in transition. They've got to have solid post defense. And tonight, Fort Lewis will run a lot of screens, and so defending those screens will be critical. The second is points in the paint. Dixie's got to pound the ball inside. They've got Julian Ducree starting for a reason, and they've got to make him pay inside. And finally, Dixie is very tough to beat when they are out-rebounding their opponents. So I'm looking for about 40 rebounds out of Dixie tonight.
Trailblazers in the white uniforms and control the tip-off. They'll go from left to right on your screen. Skyhawks in the teal-colored blue with the black trim, and they'll go from right to left on your screen. Ball is controlled by Andre Wilson, now cross court to Frampton. He looks to penetrate. Go over to Andre Wilson, angle right. Comes off a screen from Decree, now back to Frampton. He gets into the lane. Pass to Conway, lays it up, no good. Ball is still loose, tipped and saved by the Skyhawks and controlled by Wyatt Hayes. And he'll bring it slowly into the front court. Back to Hayes, setting up the offense. Now to Beasley over across court, now back to Hayes. A lot of passing by the Skyhawks early. They give it over to Simadani on the angle left. Trying to run two-man game with Ika Polar. Now back to Ika Polar, nearly stolen away. Ball is still loose. And that was Zach Frampton on the floor to try to grab that one. But he tips it out of bounds. The Trailblazers have backing in on defense. 5 seconds on the shot clock for the Skyhawks. Ball is inbounded to Beasley. He'll try a desperation three. No good, but offensive rebound is controlled by Johnson. Now back to Johnson. He'll try a three-pointer, and he'll knock it home.
Offensive rebounds early. That was key. They got the shot clock all the way down to 2, gave up a contested three-pointer, but then lost the offensive rebound. So right away, Skyhawks come out. They're in a 2-3 zone right now, looking to put some pressure on Dixie.
Hagenkoff controls now for the Trailblazers, moving it around the perimeter. Down to the short corner, now cross-court pass to Wilson. He'll try a three-pointer, no good, around the rim and out. Rebound to Hayes, and he's fouled immediately. Looks like Julian Decree gets called for the foul on the reach-in on that defensive rebound.
It's another frustration foul. That's the second foul that Julian Decree has given up, and a little bit of frustration foul, knowing that he probably could have had that rebound just a little bit short.
And errant pass by the Skyhawks. Looks like it might have been tipped. Yeah, it was by Zach Frampton. He got a hand in the passing lane on that one. And the Skyhawks, with 24 seconds on the shot clock, they'll inbound from the far side of the floor.
It looks like, Dixie either man-to-man. Fort Lewis is running so many screens, Grayson. You'll see, if you look per possession, they're looking at 3 to 4 screens. Those are fades, they're curls, they're all sorts of different screens.
Jack Pagankoff playing good defense as Alex Simadani's 15-foot jumper is no good. Pagankoff gives to Zach Frampton on the angle right. That one was blocked. Might have been a goaltending shot. It was off the backboard already. Don't call it. And then break transition. Ika Polar down low. His layup is no good. A rebound to Wilson. Wilson quickly into the hands of Pagankoff. He'll set up the offense for the Trailblazers. 15-foot fadeaway jumper is good.
Great shot by Pagankoff. The official's got his hands up. He's going to call a foul, so it looks like it could be a foul on Fort Lewis. Oh, looks like Julian Decree.
Going to count the basket and give another quick one on Julian Decree. Love to see the replay of where the foul occurred. You see Pagankoff there, and that's not a whole, in my eyes, that's just fighting for the offensive rebound there if you're Julian Decree, but 2 quick fouls going to hurt the Trailblazers in this one. Hayes gives to Beasley, now back to Hayes. Over to Beasley, top of the key. He gives to Simadani. Now to Ika Polar, trying to find Beasley in the low block. Ball stolen away by Zach Frampton. Zach Frampton grabs it. He's got it on the top of the key, now picks up his dribble. Trying to find Dub Price, he gives it to him. Over to Jack Pagankoff, he'll back it out, setting up the offense from the Dixie State logo. Fort Lewis back in that 2-3 zone. Wilson over to Dub Price, angle right. Back to Wilson, he'll try a three-pointer, no good. Too strong off the back of the iron. Rebound to Johnson. Johnson gives to Hayes quickly in the front court now for the Skyhawks. Picked up his dribble, thought he might have traveled. Back to Beasley, he'll try an 8-foot floater, and he'll knock it in.
They're getting to the paint right now early. Fort Lewis running their offense, being very patient. A lot of their shots have come very late in the shot clock. They're very patient, running their offense, making sure they're manufacturing high-quality shots.
5-2 early lead for the Skyhawks, 16:45 remaining. Jack Pagankoff, he'll try a three, and he'll knock it in. Jack Pagankoff with his second bucket, 5 points early on.
Great shot by Zach. He had his feet set. He was ready to shoot. Good confidence. Great shot by Zach Pagankoff.
Now ball control by Markel Beasley. He gives to Hayes on the angle left. Now to Ika Polar. He'll dribble handoff. That's number 22, Wyatt Hayes. His 15-foot jumper is good. Nice dribble and shoot from Wyatt Hayes.
Now they've switched to a motion offense now. They're spreading Dixie out. A lot of passes, a lot of cutting. Motion offense for Fort Lewis.
Frampton controls for the Trailblazers on the angle right. He picks up his dribble, now gives to Pagankoff. Over to Wilson on the angle left. Entry pass into Matt Conway. He leap and leaner up and good. He'll knock that one in on the entry pass for Andre Wilson.
And that's exactly what Matt Conway does best. You know, he waited for the ball. He read the defense. He knew that he could use his right hand, get a good-looking hook shot inside, and that's exactly what he does best.
Whistle on the other end early in the possession. Looks like it's going to be a foul, perhaps. I'm not sure what the whistle was. Haven't got a word yet from the officials, but we will have an under 16 media timeout. All knotted up, 7-7, 15:43 remaining in the first half. We'll take a 6-second timeout and be back on the Trailblazer Basketball Network.
Hey man, what's up with all the bags?
Oh, nothing. Just picked up a bunch of clothes and food to send to the relief effort overseas.
You know all that stuff is going to cost more to ship, and if it gets there, probably won't even be used.
At least I'm trying to do something.
It's good that you want to help, but there's an easier way. If you donate cash, the professionals will be able to purchase exactly what they need.
You know, I never looked at it that way.
It's plain and simple. Cash is the most efficient way to help disaster relief efforts. Even an amount as small as $10 can give the victims some of the necessities that are even more crucial while they're recovering.
Brought to you by the Center for International Disaster Information.
You're listening to Dixie State Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln at 145 West Hilton Drive in St. George and at stgeorgeford.com. Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln, your neighborhood Ford dealer, and the title sponsor for all DSU athletics on Radio Dixie 91.3. It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Welcome back inside Burns Arena. 4 minutes, 17 seconds gone off the first half clock. Trailblazers knotted up with the Fort Lewis Skyhawks 7-7. Skyhawks will have possession in front of the Trailblazer bench, right in front of us, actually Mike, as they inbound Wyatt Hayes. And Hayes will control it on the angle right for Fort Lewis. Dribble handoff with Johnson. Now back to Hayes in the right corner. Over to Iakapolar. Around the perimeter to Hayes. Back to Johnson. He'll try a three-pointer. No good off the front of the iron. Rebound to Frampton, but tipped out of bounds. They say last touched by Zach Frampton. And the Skyhawks will regain possession.
Another 30 seconds on the shot clock. Dixie did exactly what they wanted to defensively right there. They forced Johnson to take a deep three-pointer off balance. Unfortunately, they just couldn't get the rebound.
Wyatt Hayes quickly jump shot off the inbounds pass. That was Alex Semidani, and no good off the back of the iron. Quickly into the front corner now for the Trailblazers. An entry pass for Dub Price, and he lays it up and in.
Great transition bucket there by Dixie, getting the ball out quick, getting it up the floor, and Dub Price running the floor exceptionally well.
And now an errant pass on the other end, a bad one by Khalid Johnson. He throws it out of bounds, trying to find Alex Semidani, and the Trailblazers get the ball back. 15:04 remaining, and they take a 9-7 lead early on in this ball game.
It's been a fast pace, right? Both teams are flying up and down the floor. There's a lot of energy. Right now, Fort Lewis going with a little bit smaller lineup. They do have Semidani and along with Brendan Boatwright, who checked in. So a lot of guards, but they got one big guy that's going to cause some problems in the middle in their 2-3 zone.
Quincy Matthews just checked in for the Trailblazers. He dribbles it off his foot. Turnover now controlled by Beasley. Cross-court pass. Ball hit the rim on that pass, and ball still loose, stolen away by Dub Price. He's got a 3-on-3. He'll pull it back, though. Passes a cross-court pass to that's Pagankoff. His three-pointer is no good. Now back to Pagankoff off the offensive rebound. He'll set up the offense for the Trailblazers from the Dixie logo. Over to the angle right, Quincy Matthews. Now he'll back it out. He gives to Frampton. Now back to Pagankoff. He'll try another three. No good. Short rebound offensive. Quincy Matthews grabs it. Had a foot on the line. And the Skyhawks will grab the ball back.
Well, Grayson, I don't think Coach Judkin's too pleased with his offense right now. It looks like a lot of the shots that they're taking are early in the shot clock, shots that you can get later on anytime you want. It looks like they're shooting those a little bit too early, a little bit anxious. I think they're guys trying to get things going and find the rhythm, but just not settling into their offense. You know, Fort Lewis is playing a 2-3 zone, and Dixie's taking a lot of three-point shots. They haven't been able to get the ball inside and work it inside out.
Skyhawks now on the other end, A.J. Sparks. He gives to Whitman, now back to Beasley. Pulling it back now over to Sparks. Top of the key, he now fades to his left. Pass entry, trying to get it into Boatwright. And that one was knocked out of bounds by Quincy Matthews. The Trailblazers now sitting back trying to play defense with 7 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Skyhawks to inbound. It's going to be Sparks, gives it a Boatwright. Cross-court pass to Beasley. He's got 2 seconds to shoot it. Tries to penetrate, gets it up, but a foul is called right at the shot clock buzzer. Would have been interesting to see if they would have allowed that basket to go had he got it off, but called for the foul is Cameron Chatwin, and Beasley will go to the line for 2.
Oh, nearly a shot clock violation. Dixie played that possession very well, but when you look at their offense, Markel Beasley is very smart, very good at getting to the free throw line and creating offense for himself.
Decent three-point shooter, decent free throw shooter, 67%. I don't know if that's considered decent. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not obviously great, but he does knock in the first. 17.1 points per game average for the 6'5 senior. Second one off the back of the iron. A rebound to Cameron Chatwin, and the Trailblazers will bring it slowly across the timeline. Ball in the hands of Jack Pagan-Koff. He drifts to his right. Now back to Quincy Matthews. Wade Miller, he'll try a three. No good. Too strong. Rebound to that's Biggs. Into the front court now is Sparks, controlling the offense for the Skyhawks. He fades to his left, dribble handoff with Whitman. Whitman now gives to Beasley. He'll restart the offense for Fort Lewis. He'll try a pull-up three-pointer and good.
With Markel Beasley, that's his game. He can beat you on the drive. He can pull up jumpers. Very flexible.
37% three-point shooter is Beasley. He's got 6 quick ones for Fort Lewis as the Trailblazers turn the ball over on the other end. And Sparks slowly into the front court. He gives to Biggs, dribble handoff with Whitman. Now back to Sparks. Around the perimeter to Beasley. Now to Sparks, dribble handoff with Biggs. A lot of motion offense for the Skyhawks early on. They give to Sparks, and he traveled with it. Looked to get in that high post area and just dragged his pivot foot. He'll turn it over as the Trailblazers and Skyhawks exchange turnovers.
One thing you need to point out is the shot clock was down to 4 seconds again. Fort Lewis is doing a great job of making Dixie guard them for 30-plus seconds every possession. On the other end, Dixie's taking a lot of really quick shots early in the shot clock.
Trailblazers have shot 7 threes already, just 1 of 7 in today's contest, as Wade Miller takes one dribble to his right and takes an 18-foot jumper, and he'll knock it in. And Wade Miller is on the board off the bench for the Trailblazers.
Good-looking shot by Wade. That was in the offense. It was still early in the shot clock, but it was within the offense. A good high-percentage shot for Wade Miller.
Skyhawks on the other end. Boatwright controls on the angle left. He gives to Whitman, now back to Boatwright on the high post. Boatwright trying to find a cutter into the corner, but tipped away and out of bounds by Dub Price. Good job from Price to get his hands into the passing lane and knock that one out of bounds. 8 seconds on the shot clock when we come back after the under 12 media timeout. In fact, we're going to go to our sideline reporter, Kylie Young. She's got a report for us. Kylie, what do you got for us?
Coach on the bench was look for that high post. He wanted to see more ball movement, and that was his message in that first timeout. And you quickly saw out of that timeout the quick ball movement down the court, resulting in an easy layup bucket. They haven't been able to quite get it going since. I'm sure that will be what he's telling his bench right now.
Trailblazers obviously, do need to do something differently on the offensive end. I mean, obviously, they've taken a lot of threes, just 1 of 7, like I mentioned. Haven't done a good job from beyond the arc. Where they've had success, Mike, is when they've gotten the ball down low.
That's right, shooting 14% from the three-point line. A lot of their offense, they've been taking threes. And when the team's in a zone, a lot of times those 1 or 2 passes, the wing players will find themselves open. And it's tempting to shoot. You don't want to play into what the defense wants you to do and get the ball inside and out. You want them to be moving in the zone. You want them, force them to rotate. You want some guys to lose track and ball movement. That's the best way to beat the zone. You find the high post, short corners, move the ball inside and out, and try to get them to make some adjustments defensively. On defense, Fort Lewis is running a lot of screens. They're running those fade screens and curl screens and drift screens. They're running all sorts of different screens that Dixie's got to communicate really well on.
Skyhawks inbound at 7 to shoot on the shot clock. Ball in the hands of Sparks. Looked like he might have traveled. He did. Got off balance a little bit. Ran into a pair of Dixie State defenders, and he'll turn the ball over. And the Trailblazers regain possession. Andre Wilson checking in for Quincy Matthews. 11:36 remaining. 11-11. All knotted up here inside Burns Arena. Andre Wilson controls for the Trailblazers. Skyhawks in a mini three-quarter court press. Wilson gets the ball across the timeline, and then immediately a whistle. That's going to be on number 24. That's A.J. Sparks, his first foul, as the ball was immediately given into the half court.
Fort Lewis jumping into a full court press right there. And, Grace, we played 8.5 minutes, and that's the first team foul on the Skyhawks, which shows Dixie's just not attacking very aggressive. They're taking quick shots. We've mentioned that before, but that's the first foul of the half for Fort Lewis.
And like you mentioned, obviously that comes from not getting the ball into the paint. With a zone, you're not going to see a lot of fouls on the perimeter because it's just not a zone is not a high-pressure defense. That's why you got to get the ball into the paint, try to force some pressure as the Trailblazers kick this one out to Wade Miller. He'll try a three. Bang! Wade Miller, 5 quick points off the bench for the senior.
Great-looking shot. Those are the types you want. It gives you a 3-point lead with 11 minutes to go. Now, hopefully, that fuels your defense a little bit, gives them a little more energy.
On the other end, the Skyhawks penetration. That's Whitler. He lays it up and in, got all the way to the basket, uncontested. Tough finish through traffic. And on the other end, Chatwin gives to Wade Miller in the corner. Now over to Dason Youngblood. Chatwin, 15-foot jumper around the rim and out. Rebound offensive is Matt Conway, and lost the ball out of bounds. Looked like last touched by the Skyhawks, and the Trailblazers will have it underneath their own basket.
A great rebound by Matt Conway. Doing a good job of going up. There's a lot of contact. It's physical down there. That offensive rebound gives Dixie life now. They have a chance. You see on TV, definitely a lot of contact. There's a lot of fouls in there, and an opportunity now for Dixie to get some points out of a side out of bounds.
Inbound goes to Julian Decree. He's trying to go up and in. Good defense by Ianka Polar. He gets his own rebound and lays it in on the second effort. Good play there by Julian Decree to stick with it.
That's what you want to see. He's playing with 2 fouls, and he's still being aggressive.
Now over to Beasley for the Skyhawks. Back to Hayes, over to Beasley, top of the key. To Whitman. He'll take a step-back three-pointer, no good, too strong. Rebound to Simadani, now over to Hayes, back to Simadani. He faked a three. He'll go right, gets to the short corner. He'll try a wild circus shot. No good, out of bounds, last touched by the Trailblazers.
Now it's another offensive rebound, and now a dead ball offensive rebound. So, one of the keys of the game was rebounding. We're hoping to see Dixie into the 40s in the rebounding, but right now Fort Lewis is dominating the glass.
9-5 advantage for the Skyhawks. 10-5 now for that offensive rebound. As the Trailblazers lock in their heels on defense. Ball is given to Michael Beasley on the low block. Entry pass to Simadani is tapped away by Andre Wilson. 6 seconds to shoot. We've seen this a lot of low shot clock situations for the Skyhawks, and they haven't really been able to execute other than one on a foul call that was right at the buzzer as they inbound it to Beasley. They'll try to penetrate. It's a little arm down into Dason Youngblood. He's called for the travel. Yeah, it looked like he just got his arm down and his momentum carried him forward. You'll see here, try to create some space, and there's where the travel was called. Dason Youngblood controls for the Trailblazers on the other end. He gives to Wade Miller, angle right, high pass controlled by Matt Conway. Ball is tipped away and stolen by the Skyhawks. Hayes running the fast break for Fort Lewis. He'll pull it back now, gives to Simadani. Down into the low block to Beasley. He'll take a 15-foot fadeaway jumper. No good. Rebound to Julian Decree. Dason Youngblood now controls. Try to split 2 defenders. Kicks out Andre Wilson. Wilson back to Youngblood, setting up the offense for Dixie State. Over the angle right. Wade Miller. Entry pass to Decree. Andre Wilson. He'll try a three-pointer. No good. Too strong. Rebound might have been touched by the Skyhawks. Instead, they say last touched by Dixie State. And Fort Lewis will regain possession.
Dixie doing a good job, up 16-13, 9 minutes to go. They're starting to settle in on their offense. They're being more patient with their offense and using that zone offense to break that zone.
Playing good defensively in the last few minutes as well since the under 12 media timeout. Hayes, he'll give to Whitman. He'll drift to the angle left, now gives to Simadani. Simadani kicks out to Beasley. He'll shoot a three. No good, too short. Decree with the rebound. He gives to Andre Wilson. He'll look to push quickly in the front court now to Decree. Back to Youngblood. Thought about a three. Now he'll pull it back and set up the offense. Straight away over to the angle right. Wade Miller back to Youngblood around the perimeter to Wilson. Back to Youngblood. Entry pass to Conway. 12-foot floater is no good off the front of the rim. Didn't get enough on that. Did Conway, and Simadani takes control. Into the front court now. He'll give to Beasley. Dribble handoff. No, fake the dribble handoff. Beasley now gets into the short corner trying to work on Matt Conway. Hook shot jumper over the left shoulder is good for Markel Beasley.
Well, we talked about he's the guy offensively, and he's a very good one-on-one player.
Very good in the low block as Wade Miller entries this one into Matt Conway. His layup is no good. Touched about every part of the iron before falling out, but he is fouled, and he will go to the line for 2 free throws as they give the foul to Otis Iekapolar, his first, as we go to the under 8 media timeout. Trailblazers lead this one 16-15. Matt Conway will be on the line shooting 2 free throws when we return in 60 seconds on the Trailblazer Basketball Network.
Hey, Mom, why is the sky blue? Why don't animals talk? Why do dogs have wet noses? Why is an 11 pronounced 21?
Kids ask a lot of questions.
Why do I have a belly button?
But you don't have to know every answer.
Why is the ocean salty?
Because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent.
Why are there 50 states?
There are thousands of children in foster care who don't need every question answered.
Why is pizza round?
They just need you. For more information on how you can adopt, go to adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Dixie State Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln at 145 West Hilton Drive in St. George and at stgeorgeford.com. Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln, your neighborhood Ford dealer, and the title sponsor for all DSU athletics on Radio Dixie 91.3. It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Trailblazers lead this one 16-15 on your Chick-fil-A scoreboard. Matt Conway will be at the line for 2 free throws. Conway yet to score in this one, but pretty good free throw shooter, 75% on the season for the 6'7" junior out of Chandler, Arizona. Was fouled on that previous possession. Almost got the layup to go, but rolled out at the last second, and he'll be on the line for 2.
Starting to understand him a little bit and how to defend him, and that
takes a deep breath.
Time anticipating
Conway, a flick of the wrist,
an offensive foul.
Knocks in. He's really been the only Skyhawk to hurt the Trailblazers. He's got 8 quick ones in the first 13 and 12.5 minutes of this one. No one else for the Skyhawks has more than 1 field goal. He's got 8 out of the 15 for Fort Lewis. For the Trailblazers, Jack Pagankoff controls yo-yos with the right hand. He gives to Andre Wilson, angle right. Andre Wilson, Dub Price, ball is tipped away out of bounds. That's Alex Simadeni. And Trailblazers will retain possession.
You know, Dixie's really wanting some ball reversals. You know, Coach Judkins pleading with his team to move the ball side to side, reverse the ball, and manufacture some shots.
Jack Pagankoff lost it. Ball was tipped, still loose. Regained by the Skyhawks. The layup by Whitman is no good. Last touched by Fort Lewis. No, excuse me, last touch by Dixie State. Thought they might have given the ball to the Trailblazers there, but last touch looked like off the hands of maybe Dub Price. Instead, Fort Lewis will trigger the inbound from their own basket. Inbound pass goes to Johnson. He'll try a 3-pointer, and he'll hit it.
Catch and shoot, deep 3 out of bounds play underneath. You know, the guard just up top. Didn't think that was going to be an option. He was so far away, they were going to let that pass go, but Johnson caught and shot and nailed it.
Reed Johnson, his second 3-pointer of the game. He's got 6 points on 2 buckets. As Jack Pagankoff gives to Wilson, now into Matt Conway on the low block. His layup no good, creeps off the front of the iron. And out of bounds, last touched by Conway. Tough goal for Matt Conway last couple of possessions. Had some easy looks right there at the rim, and on normally buckets that you don't think would fall, just creeped off the iron, and the Fort Lewis Skyhawks will retain possession. Alex Semideni controls for Fort Lewis, guarded by Jack Pagankoff. He drifts to his left. Now over to the left corner. The free-point shot is up, no good. Off the front of the iron, that was Kareed Johnson. That was a little bit of a heat check three, if you will. The last touch by the Trailblazers out of bounds.
Well, Kareed Johnson's hit 2 threes. For the year, he's shooting 26%. So he's feeling pretty good right now, feeling like he's got a shot.
He'll try another one, and he'll hit another one. Three-pointer is good. Kareed Johnson, like you mentioned, not a great three-point shooter, just 13 of 73 coming into today's contest, but he's got 3 quick ones, and all of a sudden he's leading all scorers with 9, and immediately a timeout by Coach John Judkins.
Yeah, he's not happy with the defensive effort. You know, when a guy hits 1 and he's shooting 26% on the year, you make an adjustment, right? You know, okay, he hit 1. He hits another one. Now you've got to start really playing him different. Make him dribble. All 3 of those that he has shot has been to catch and shoot, and he's in his rhythm. And so Coach Judkins, I'm sure, right now is letting his team know you've got to KYP. You know your personnel and understand that he's hot and he's shooting catch and shoot jumpers. Make him dribble, make him put it on the floor and do something different.
Trailblazers, obviously a quick run by Fort Lewis on an extended run. Make it a 6-1 run for Fort Lewis as Matt Conway tries to find Dub Price on the low block. Ball is stolen away and controlled by Alex Simideni. He'll bring it across the timeline, gives to Markel Beasley. Back to Simideni, top of the key, across the perimeter to Johnson. Johnson holds, now finds Beasley, guarded by Andre Wilson. Over to Whitman. Whitman gives to Ikapolar, 5 to shoot. Good defense by Andre Wilson and a foul. Wilson called for the blocking foul. Initially good defense, but you see there kind of just was riding him a little bit there. Pretty good call. That's a good call by the referee. Wilson riding him there with the right hip, and a fresh 20 seconds on the shot clock for Fort Lewis.
Well, the ref telling him that he was impeding his progress.
And Dixie State bench pleading for an out-of-bounds call. They had a good look at that one right on there in front of their own bench, but no whistle from the referees. Down in the low block to Markel Beasley. That's where he's so good, and that's what he does best. He lays that one up and in for 2.
Another crafty move by Markel Beasley, one-on-one. That time using a spin move to get back to the middle where he's comfortable right there in the lane.
Andre Wilson, he'll try to penetrate, is cut off by Beasley. Back out to Pagankoff. He's fouled at the perimeter. No, they're saying go in the other direction. Offensive off Jack Pagankoff. He looks like he pushed off, and the referee's got him for a foul.
You know, it's hard because they just called a foul on Dixie for impeding the progress, and that's the same type of thing right there. There's a lot of contact, very physical guard play going on right now, and the ref's trying to tighten it up. And it's hard for players to try to make that adjustment.
Ikapolar dribble handoff with Semideni. He spins to his left. Layup is no good. Good defense there for the Trailblazers. Jack Pagankoff quickly into the front court now. He hands off to Dub Price. Now into the corner. Three-pointer by Frampton. No good. Too strong. Frampton goes to get the offensive rebound. Can't do it. Ball in the hands of Kareed Johnson. He throws an alley-oop to Ikapolar. Can't control it, and the Trailblazers regain possession. Up and down we go. Jack Pagankoff trying to penetrate, and he's fouled.
You know, it's with 4 minutes and 22 seconds to go. You know, Dixie's they've seen their lead disappear. Now they're down 6. You can see their body language. They're just frustrated. They need to finish this half strong. They really need to regroup and just take a deep breath. But right now, I think they're trying to force a lot of things offensively and defensively. They really need to just slow things down just a little bit, regroup, and use this next 4 minutes. They've got a timeout coming in just 22 seconds, dead ball after the 4-minute mark. They got to regroup, get back to what they were doing when they got the lead, and that's patience on offense and then team defense, transition, stopping the ball, and understanding and communicating on the Markel Beasley.
Inbounds pass goes to Matt Conway. He'll try a layup, and he's fouled immediately. A good out-of-bounds play for the Trailblazers. Foul is called on Alex Simideni, and Matt Conway will go back to the free throw line.
No, I'd love to see a replay on that. It looks like somebody slapped the backboard. You know, they're slapping the backboard. You could easily call a goaltending there. So wondering if that was not a goaltending on slapping the backboard. It looked to me like they were contesting it and somebody slapped it.
First free throw from Conway is good. He's got 2 points. Here's the replay. You see the entry pass goes to Conway. The foul there by Simideni. Yeah, it looks like Wyatt Hayes might have got up there and knocked the glass.
Nobody's perfect. They're going to miss some.
Yeah. Conway's second free throw is good. He's got 3 points, and the Trailblazers have cut back into the lead. 23-19. Trailblazers on the losing end of this one so far. 4:15 to go. Ball is controlled by Simideni. He dribble hands off with Kevin Biggs. Now over to Molina. Just checked into the ball game. A three-pointer by Boatwright. No good. An offensive rebound. And a foul immediately. Excuse me, that was Boatwright on the rebound. And he'll go to the line for 2 free throws.
Another offensive rebound. You know, if you're going to chip into this lead and make some progress, you can't give Fort Lewis second chance buckets.
Free throw rims out for Boatwright. It was Brendan LaRose on the three-pointer, 33 and 32. Sometimes at the angle we don't have the greatest angle. 33 can look like a 32 and vice versa. So is Brendan LaRose on the three-point attempt, and then the offensive rebound to Brendan Boatwright. Both Brendans as well. So you can understand how I was confused. Boatwright's second free throw was up and good, and he's on the board for the Skyhawks. 4 minutes remaining. 24-19, Fort Lewis leads. Jack Pagankoff across the timeline. He controls the offense for the Trailblazers. Three-pointer up from Wade Miller, no good, but Matt Conway gets the rebound, and he lays it up and in. Matt Conway finally gets a layup to go, but no foul on the bump.
A lot of contact. Matt Conway doing a very good job of using his body to absorb the contact, keep his balance, and score.
Low block, Boatwright. Little hook move is good, and he'll put his first bucket in as well. He's got 3 off the bench for Fort Lewis. Jack Pagankoff now gives to Wade Miller. Back to Pagankoff. Around the perimeter, Quincy Matthews. Pagankoff and Wade Miller around the perimeter we go. Back and forth. Pagankoff gets it back, tries to penetrate. 10-foot fadeaway jumper is no good. And again, called for an offensive foul.
Well, they got him on a push-off. You know, Jack's trying to, you see him, he's going, there's contact. He tried to move him with the contact. His arm is there, but it was kind of a natural move.
Not a whole lot there. I don't see it really, but 2 fouls on Jack Pagankoff. Let's go back down to our sideline reporter, Kylie Young. Kylie, what do you have for us?
Coach Judkins still wanted to see better, quicker ball movement on the offensive end. You see these last 2 possessions, he told them, don't take 14 dribbles, take a dribble or 2, then kick it out. And you can see the last 2, it's been better ball movement. Seems they can now capitalize on it.
Thanks, Kylie. Yeah, like you mentioned, we talked about it earlier. The ball is just not going anywhere. It's just being passed around the perimeter, and that's what you want to do with the zone. But then ultimately you got to get it into the paint, and that's where you really kind of take away the zone.
Well, if you look at critical statistics, if you're a coach and your team is playing against the 2-3 zone, a couple of things you're going to look at. Number 1, points in the paint. And Dixie hasn't got a lot of points in the paint. They've got 8, but still that's not enough. You look at 3-point shooting percentage, field goal percentage. Dixie shooting 18%, 2 for 11 from the 3-point line. So some of those shots are probably a little bit quick. And, Dixie's built for a zone. They've got great shooters. They've got athletic bigs. They just need to attack and just be a little bit more patient. And that was the message right there in that timeout to Coach Judkins. They've got to finish strong. They can't be afraid of the zone. You've got to attack it. You've got to attack it with 1 or 2 dribbles and a kick or a dump down, but not an ill-advised quick 3-pointer.
Trailblazers 39% from 3-pointer on the season. A good 3-point shooting team, but obviously would like to get those 3-pointers off dribble penetration and then kicking it out. Not doing that right now as the Skyhawks control. Molina gets all the way to the basket. A nice move up and under layup is good for Cesar Molina, and he's on the board for Fort Lewis. Jack Pagankoff the other way. He'll give to Matt Conway. He'll try a 3. No good off the front of the iron. Rebound to Alex Simideni. He'll slow up the pace for Fort Lewis and gives to Cesar Molina. Back to Simideni. He'll set up the offense standing on the Dixie State logo. And he'll hand to LaRose. Back to Molina off a screen from Boatwright. Biggs tries a three, no good, too strong. Offensive rebound again to Boatwright, and one more offensive rebound. And on the third try, Brendan Boatwright gets that one to go. And on the other end, Jack Pagankoff controls, gives to Quincy Matthews, and out of Matt Conway in the short corner. Cross court pass to Wade Miller. He controls on the angle right. Now to Pagankoff, top of the key, in to Miller. Miller on the angle left. He takes a dribble, steps inside the three-point line. Shot is no good. Rebound, but a foul is called. Let's see who they're going to give it to. Looks like it's going to be on Fort Lewis. Going to be against Brendan LaRose, his first, and the Trailblazers will inbound from underneath their own basket.
Quincy doing a great job of crashing the rebounds right here. You see him go up and get positions. Dixie being out-rebounded right now, 19-11. So you want to see some of that energy coming off the bench. And Quincy doing a great job of going after some of those offensive rebounds.
Inbounds pass goes to Dub Price. Now back out to Pagankoff in the right corner. Back out to Wade Miller. Thought about a three. Now takes a step inside. Across the perimeter to Quincy Matthews. Dub Price will take a 15-foot jumper. No good. Rebound to Wade Miller. He'll lay it up and in.
Great offensive rebound by Wade Miller, but what I love about that possession is there were 6 passes. The ball didn't touch the floor, reversed it 3 times, and Wade Miller was very aggressive going after that offensive rebound.
Offensive rebounds paying dividends on that trip for Dixie State. Now Simideni controls for Fort Lewis. Wild pass gathered in by Boatwright. He'll try a 12-foot jumper. Long rebound out to Pagankoff. He'll want to push the pace. He gets a whistle and a shot. Looks like they're going to wave off the shot. Going to be called on the ground. Going to get Kevin Biggs for the foul in transition against Jack Pagankoff. And we are in the bonus now. That's the 7th personal foul. 7th team foul. First personal foul against Kevin Biggs. And Jack Pagankoff will go to the line to shoot 1-on-1.
Looking to cut into this 7-point deficit with 1:17 to go. Fort Lewis holding a 7-point lead, 30-23. You want to see Dixie cut into that lead a little bit before halftime.
Front end of the free throws is missed and gathered in by Fort Lewis. Free throws becoming an issue for the Trailblazers early in this first half. Beasley gives to Molina. He'll set up the offense. Under a minute remaining in the first half. Beasley over to the angle left. Alex Simideni. Now to Iakopolar. He tries to get it into the Beasley on the low block. He does. Beasley squares up. Now gets into the paint. Fakes right. Goes left. And no good. His layup came off the rim. Last touched by the Skyhawks. And the Trailblazers will have it. 44 seconds remaining.
44 seconds to go, like you said. 30 seconds on the shot clock. You've really got a time in possession here. Get a good look. Get a good basket.
Quincy Matthews gives to Zach Fragenkoff, taps his head, indicating the play the Trailblazers want to run. Dub Price, nice look into Julian Decree, but layup is no good from point-blank range. Roll around the rim, and a whistle. It's going to be out of bounds. Last touched by the Skyhawks. A good break there for the Trailblazers after Decree missed a point-blank, wide-open layup.
Yeah, he'd love to have that one back. There wasn't anybody around him. Maybe he was too open. Maybe he was expecting contact, as physical as it's been, but missed an easy chance to go 2 for 1 right there. If he would have scored that bucket, the Dixie Trailblazers would have had another possession with a 2 for 1.
27.9 remaining on the first half. Game clock. Out of bounds play. Gets the ball back to Decree. Lost it briefly. Gets it back. Dub Price now dribbles baseline. Goes, lays it up and in. Good move there by Dub Price.
Great move. Solid move. Baseline. And it's exactly the way they drew that up. Wanted it right out of, that out of bounds play underneath. Great design, great execution.
Trailblazers call a quick 30-second timeout. We'll keep it right here. As a reminder, timeouts brought to you tonight by Catering Concepts. Trailblazers trail this one 30-25. As you see the nice move there by Dub Price. Drove to his left onto the baseline and laid that one up and in with the right hand. 16 seconds remaining. Obviously, you got it back within 5. You got to play one more defensive possession. You'd love to go in, getting a nice stop on defense and have maybe some momentum going into the second half, right, Mike?
Exactly. You've got to build on it somehow. You don't want to give them an easy look. With 16 seconds to go, the Dixie's going to try to slow them down full court. Keep it out of their hands, the guards' hands, and do their best to slow Fort Lewis down. But you got to be careful. You don't want to foul. You don't want to do anything stupid. Just play them straight up and no offensive rebounds.
Skyhawks are in the bonus now. Next foul would be one-on-one. Trailblazers hope to avoid that ball in the hands of Whitman. 5 seconds to shoot. He gives to Semideni. 2 seconds now. Back to Whitman for three. He'll shoot it, and he'll knock it in. Will Whitman at the buzzer. A fadeaway three-pointer will give the will give the Skyhawks an 8-point lead going into halftime, 33-25. Just what we said, exactly what you didn't want to have happen in that last possession.
They did a great job of keeping the ball out of Markel Beasley's hands. You know, they knew that's where they were going. Did a great job there, but they just forgot about Whitman, who's a 50% three-point shooter on the other side.
Let's go down to Kelly Young with Coach Judkins.
The adjustments do you want to see made?
Well, we just got to rebound the ball. We've had balls hit us right in the hands. We don't grab them, and then it gives them second, third shots, and then they make them. So our defense is good. We just got to make sure we hold them to one shot.
On the offensive end, you were struggling in the beginning of the game, getting and finding your way into the paint. Have you seen any adjustments that your team has made? Do you like it? Is there anything else you'd like to see change?
Well, they're zoning us. And our guys are being tentative with the ball. They're not penetrating it. They're not getting the ball to the high post. That's how you got to attack a zone, is by penetration, either by a pass or by a dribble. And all we're doing is passing it from side to side. And if you do that, it's easy to match up, and that's what they're doing. So we'll make some adjustments right now and be ready for that. We just gotta play and rebound the ball and get out and run.
All right, thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Thanks, Kylie. Interview with Coach John Judkins. Said a lot what we said early on in the game, Mike, is just you gotta get the ball into the painted area off that zone. It's not going to do you any good to just pass the ball around the perimeter, especially in a situation where you're not hitting three-pointers early on.
That's right. You know it's working because they haven't switched it at all. It's exactly what Fort Lewis has game planned, and it's working. As good as shooters as Dixie had, the zone shouldn't be a problem.
Trailblazers down 33-25 at the end of the first half. We'll take a 5-minute timeout and be back for the Info West halftime show. 5 minutes and we'll be back on the Trailblazer Basketball Network.
It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Back inside Burns Arena, Trailblazers behind Fort Lewis, 33-25. We welcome you into the Info West halftime show. Mike Olson alongside myself, Drayson Ball. Interesting first half, really a back and forth first half. Trailblazers did get out to a 16-15 lead, and then a quick 8-1 run kind of turned the tide for Fort Lewis, and then they lead and end up getting a three-pointer at the end of the first half on a buzzer beater from Will Whitman, and they took an 8-point lead into halftime. What do the Trailblazers got to do in the second half to kind of get into this Fort Lewis zone defense?
Well, they need to start playing together. Coach Judkins always preaches 3 Ps. Play hard, play smart, and play together. I think they're playing very hard. I think he's happy with the playing hard, their efforts there. They're not really playing as smart, he was like, and they're certainly not playing together. It's defensively and offensively. In the zone, you heard at halftime, he's not happy with the way they're attacking the zone. The ball movement got better. They were moving the ball from the right to the left side, and they were reversing the ball, but that's not good enough. You need to attack. You need to penetrate the zone. You need some of those penetrating passes that go inside out rather than just reversing around the top. Fort Lewis is doing a good job of extending the defense out a little bit, making Dixie take deep threes, and then they're killing them on the rebounds. I mean, we're looking at defense rebounding totals. Fort Lewis out-rebounding Dixie 23-16 with 9 offensive rebounds.
As far as the first half stats go, Fort Lewis goes 13 of 30 from the field, 43%, and really did a good job from downtown, 5 of 12 from behind the arc, 41.7% for the Skyhawks. Like you mentioned, out-rebounding the Trailblazers 23-16. Not only that, they have done just a very good job on both offensively and defensively. As far as, Markel Beasley, the Trailblazers did surrender 10 points to the leading scorer for Fort Lewis. But really what's hurt them most is Kareed Johnson. His 9 points. He's 3 of 5 from downtown. He had a couple of back-to-back, I think it was, three-pointers that really kind of turned the transition, or turned the tide, if you will, and the momentum really got into the Fort Lewis's background.
That's right. They're doing a better job defensively on some other guys, but, Kareed Johnson, a starter, shooting 26% from the three-point line, 19 of 73, and he's shooting 3 for 5. So as we talked about it earlier, as soon as he hits one and that confidence starts to rise, you have to make him make adjustment. Make him put it on the floor. Make him put it on a bounce and do something other than catch and shoot.
For the Trailblazers, they go 10 of 29, 34% from the field in the first 20 minutes of this game. Like we mentioned, 2 of 12 from downtown, not going to get the job done. A situation where you've got to recognize you're not hitting from downtown and be able to penetrate and get the ball into the painted area. Matt Conway and Wade Miller both have 7 points to lead the Trailblazers in scoring. Jack Pagankoff has 5 points. Dub Price put in 2 buckets. He's got 4 points, and Julian Decree has a layup as well. First half stats brought to you in our Info West halftime show. Obviously, you look at the second chance points. Fort Lewis has 12 second chance points, and they've really dominated the offensive glass out 9-7. I mean, that's not dominating, but they've gotten a large portion of their rebounds from the offensive glass, and then 12 points off those second chance opportunities to show for it.
That's right. Rebounding's hurt them. And, I'm sure that's a topic of conversation in the locker room. Coach Judkins definitely going to talk about rebounding. It's hard to rebound when you're playing in a zone. It's much harder. And the few of those times where Dixie switched to a zone, that was hard. But still no excuse for giving up that many offensive rebounds. The other key, Grayson, is you look at Dixie's calling card this year. What they're known for in the RMAC is their defense. They're currently second in the RMAC in scoring defense, with allowing 70 points per game, but they're also first in the RMAC in field goal percentage defense, holding teams to 40%, where Fort Lewis shooting almost 44% the first half. So I think it's nothing that they can't adjust to. I think it's a few adjustments defensively, more patience and attack offensively, and Dixie will get right back into this game.
We thought this one might be a high-scoring affair up to this point. Not following suit. If the Trailblazers want to get back into this one, they'll have to make it a high-scoring affair in order to do so. That's your Info West halftime show. We'll take a 2-minute break. A 2-minute break and be back for the second half of action. Trailblazers need to come back down 8, 33-25. Back in 2 minutes on the Trailblazer Basketball Network.
It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Welcome back inside Burns Arena. Second half action coming your way. Fort Lewis leading this one 33-25. Mike, let's revisit our keys to the game, brought to you by Mountain America. What do you got for us, Mike?
Well, we talked about team defense. Dixie's giving up 43%, not doing a very good job finding the shooters. Certainly some work to be done in their transition and talking on some of those defensive assignments through screens. We talked about points in the paint. Dixie currently leading points in the paint with 12 points in the paint as opposed to Fort Lewis's 10. So much better job late in the first half. And then the third one is rebounding. Hoping to have 40 rebounds for the night. Dixie right now a total of 16 rebounds to 23 Fort Lewis rebounds. So definitely need to focus on those things. Rebounding, points in the paint, and team defense.
Those are your keys to the game. 3 things the Trailblazers will need to improve on if they want to come out victorious on this one. And the second half action is underway. And an errant pass right off the bat from Alex Simiden. He looked like he was trying to find Wyatt Hayes, and pass was too tall and throws it out of bounds. Jack Pagankoff now the other direction for Dixie State. He'll set up the offense. Gives the name right to Andre Wilson. Now in to Julian Decree. Nice play by the Trailblazers. Julian Decree lays that one up and in.
Exactly what they need to do to break the zone. You saw 2 passes, one inside and then a high-low pass. high post to short corner. Perfect zone offense.
Well executed by the Trailblazers as Alex Simonani throws an alley-oop to Markel Beasley, and he throws it down.
Well, that lob off of the back screen, nobody talked on the back screen. There was no ball pressure on the pass.
Good play by the Skyhawks as the Trailblazers come the other way with Andre Wilson. He gives to Decree. He tries to go up and dunk it. Ball is stripped away, gathered in by Wyatt Hayes, and he'll run the fast break for the Skyhawks, and a block from the backside from Julian Decree. Ball is back out to Johnson. He'll try a three-pointer. No good. Rebound to Matt Conway. Jack Pagenkopf into the front court. Gives to Wilson. Now to Frampton in the left corner. He stepped on the line. Turnover.
Well, Coach Judkins really urging his team to get the rebound out quicker and go. Great block by Julian Decree on the defensive end. Great help side defense. Came over. A very hard block. Blocked it really hard off the glass.
Great chase down block from the 6'8 senior from Rancho Cucamonga, California. Wyatt Hayes gives to Yeko Polar. Down to Beasley in the low block. He'll kick it out to Hayes. He'll try to penetrate. Gets all the way to the low block. Dribbles off his knee, and the Trailblazers regain possession.
That's 2 turnovers already for Fort Lewis. So Dixie's defense picking up a little bit. You're seeing a little more energy. Fort Lewis back in a 2-2-1 zone press. It's full court, trying to slow Dixie down.
Nice pass from Pagenkopf into Conway, but can't get the floater to go. A quick shot there, like we mentioned, on a good look, but Matt Conway can't get it to go as Wyatt Hayes creeps across the timeline for Fort Lewis. He'll set up the offense. He'll now drift to the angle right. He'll give to Semideni. Now over to Yeka Polar. Now to Johnson on the angle left. Back to Hayes. Runs pick and roll with the Yeka Polar. He'll try to penetrate. Ball stolen away by Jack Pagenkopf. He's all alone. Got to beat one defender. Lays it up. And no good, but a foul. Alex Semideni was streaking down, trying to recover defensively, and he got Jack Pagenkopf on the arm. Pagenkopf unable to finish the layup, but will go to the line for 2 free throws.
Dixie doing a much better job in transition. They're getting the ball out quick. Zach Pagenkopf doing a great job of just keeping the ball going all the way to the rim, drawing the foul. Very strong move in transition.
Free throws tonight brought to you by Fabulous Freddy's as Jack Pagenkopf knocks in his first. He's got 6 points for the Trailblazers. You see here, Pagenkopf just reaches in his left hand and steals that one away from Yeka Polar, and then you see the foul there on the arm. Unfortunately, Pagenkopf not able to get the layup to go, but he will get one more from the free throw line. Thanks to Fabulous Freddy's bringing us their free throws tonight. Second one is up and good for Jack Pagenkopf. 35-29. Trailblazers down. 17:45 remaining in the second half. Semideni has the ball, trying to get out of a Dixie State double team. Yeka Polar goes into the lane hard, and Julian Decree is there to draw a charge.
Great defensive rotation. Dixie's doing a much better job of communicating. You see Julian Decree step outside the circle, get his feet set, and take the charge right square in the chest.
Well done. A good set of possessions from Julian Decree defensively after the block and the charge call as Jack Pagenkopf controls for Dixie State. Into Julian Decree, kick out for Zach Frampton, a three-pointer, bang! Zach Frampton hits his first points of the game, a 3 off the assist from Julian Decree. That was the inside-out game we were talking about earlier in the first half. That's where you want to get your threes, and that one gets to go for Zach Frampton.
Great pass by Julian Decree.
Semideni controls for Fort Lewis. He hands to Johnson, now in the hands of Markel Beasley. Back to Semideni. He'll drift to the angle left. Tries to throw a backdoor pass to Yeka Polar, tapped out by Julian Decree. He's played well defensively the last 3 or 4 minutes to start this second half, including the assist on the offensive end on the previous possession.
9 seconds on the shot clock for Fort Lewis. Again, Dixie hoping they can force a bad shot.
Beasley on the angle left, picks up his dribble, 3 to shoot, now gives to Semideni. Fading jumper, no good, off the front of the iron. Quincy Matthews the rebound. Dixie State quickly in the front court. Zach Pagenkopf dribbles, penetrates, and laid up and in, but no, a foul call on Zach Frampton. Offensive foul. He passed it off to Matt Conway, to his left, who had a wide open layup. You see 3 defenders surrounding Pagenkopf, and he just couldn't keep his momentum from taking him in to the defender, and he gets called for the offensive foul.
Well, when you're in transition like that, you've got the ball. You've got to be very careful not to jump and pass, because you can still pick up a charge by jumping and passing it. Great pass, but he lost control when he left his feet.
Caesar Molina being trapped by Dixie State. Julian Decree tried to get a hand on that cross-court pass. Heavy pressure from the Trailblazers defense trying to force a turnover. 35-32, 16-20 remaining. And a whistle. No shot on the play. Going to be a foul on the Trailblazers. They give it to Quincy Matthews. That's his first. Second team foul. Less than 4 minutes gone in the second half. The Skyhawks will inbound it. Molina trying to find a cutter. Has to do the outlet pass is Ieka Polar. Polar controls at the top of the key. He gives to Molina. Now to the angle right. Now back to Molina. Top of the key. Standing on the Dixie State logo. He gives to Semideni. Fakes right now. He'll step back, take a three. Long rebound is controlled by Jack Pagankoff. Quickly in the front court now. Dixie State looks to push transition. Matt Conway, good pass from Pagankoff, and he'll lay it up and in.
Great transition. Pagankoff knew exactly when he got that rebound what he needed to do. He got up the floor, and Matt Conway, great job running the floor, knowing he's got a point guard with his head up, looking to get his big guy the ball.
Caesar Molina controls for the Skyhawks, and now in the hands of Markel Beasley. Back to Molina. Back to Beasley in this left corner. Trying to find a Ieka Polar in the low block, can't do it. Gives to Whitwer. He'll dribble, penetrate, and get all the way to the basket and lay it up and in.
You know, just looking back, you know, Fort Lewis a lot of their point production has come from their starters. Tonight, their bench has been huge. Guys coming off the bench and scoring big buckets.
Pagankoff controls. He gives to Quincy Matthews on the angle right. Into the short corner to Julian Decree. Zach Frampton, three-pointer, just hit one from there. This one too strong. Rebound is loose, now controlled by Fort Lewis. Molina over the timeline. He gives to his right to Beasley. Now to Molina. He'll set things up and dribble it back out for the Skyhawks. Setting up the offense. Drifts now to the angle right on that Trailblazer logo. Finds Semideni in the right corner. Back to Molina. 4 seconds to shoot. He'll look to penetrate. Fakes right. Goes left. Fade away. 18-foot jumper. No good. Short off the front of the iron. Rebound. Tracked down by Matt Conway. He gives to Zach Frampton. Comes off a screen from Julian Decree. Now gives it to Decree on the roll, and he lays it up and in. Nice two-man game from from Pagankoff and Decree.
Heads-up play by Pagankoff. You know, patience. He waited for the defense to commit to him. He knew he could see that play developing. He waited for the defense to commit to him, knowing that he's got Decree wide open under the basket.
Trailblazers have cut the lead to just one. 37-36, 14 minutes to go in the second half. Whitman. His entry pass is stolen away by Pagankoff. He's streaking down the sideline. Now penetrates, kicks out to Quincy Matthews. His 15-foot jumper is no good off the back of the iron. Ball is loose, tapped away, but regained by Beasley. He'll drift into the left corner. Nearly stolen by Julian Decree. Still buried in that left corner. He'll dribble baseline. He comes up and under. No good. Rebound to Matt Conway. A good defensive play there by Julian Decree against the quicker Beasley. Frampton now gives to Pagankoff. He'll penetrate, kick out to Quincy Matthews around the perimeter to Conway. He fakes right, goes left. Ball is loose, controlled by Quincy Matthews. Cross-court pass, wide open three by Zach Frampton. Too strong off the back of the iron. Offensive rebound by Julian Decree. His layup is no good. Conway grabs the offensive rebound on the third effort. It's good to go.
You know, it's a great way to get the lead back. You know, 3 offensive rebounds. Great teamwork. You can see the energy momentum shifting a little bit.
And that forces a timeout for Fort Lewis. A good run by the Trailblazers to get back into this when they start off on a 13-4 run to begin the second half. You see there the three-pointer by Zach Frampton. Julian Decree grabs a rebound. Matt Conway fighting hard, getting one more rebound, and lays that one up and in. We under 16-minute media timeout. We'll be back in 60 seconds on the Trailblazer Basketball Network.
It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Arena Trailblazers regain the lead on a 13-4 run to begin the second half. 38-37, 13 minutes remaining in this one. The Skyhawks inbound it in the hands of Caesar Molina. He brings it across the timeline and gives to Kevin Biggs. Back to Molina. They'll set up the offense, run pick and roll with LaRose. Back to the Rose. The top of the key, he'll give to Whitman. He'll try a three-pointer, no good, around the rim and out. Dub Price grabs the rebound into the hands of Dason Youngblood quickly into the front court. Dribble handoff with Quincy Matthews. Now over to Cameron Chatwin. He'll try a three, no good. Short rebound to Boatwright. Boatwright hands to Molina, and he'll bring the ball into the front court for Fort Lewis. Over to the angle left is Biggs, and now into the corner. Back to Molina. Around the perimeter we go. Back to Biggs. Molina controls on the angle right. Entry pass is given to Boatwright on the low block. No good on the layup, but a whistle and a foul is going to be called against Quincy Matthews, his second.
You know, Fort Lewis, we talked about their screens. They're setting a lot of different types of screens. That time it's a cross screen, and there was no communication on Dixie. A lot of times you like to jump out and bump the screen a little bit and slow them down. And that time it was a clear screen right there for Boatwright. No bump, no contact, and he was easily getting to where he needed to be.
No good on the first free throw from Boatwright. A 74% free throw shooter. And another timeout called by Fort Lewis. First called timeout of the second half will go to media. We'll do the same. 60 seconds and back on the Trailblazer Basketball Network.
It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
The Trailblazers lead this one 38-37. 12-13 remaining on the second half clock. Brendan Boatwright on the free throw line for the Skyhawks to shoot the second of two free throws out of the timeouts. As a reminder, timeouts brought to you tonight by Catering Concepts. Brendan Boatwright, a couple of dribbles. His second free throw clangs off the back of the iron and then gets a friendly bounce and into the basket. He's got 6 points, and the game now tied 38-38. Dason Youngblood controls for the Trailblazers. Top of the key, he gives to Wade Miller. Back to Youngblood. Over the angle left. Round the perimeter we go. Now entry pass is to give it to Chatwin. Chatwin cross-court pass to Andre Miller. He faked a three. Dribbles, penetrates. Good pass. Find Dub Price on the low block, and he lays it up and in.
Great look by Andre Wilson. Driving baseline. Good ball fake shot, or ball fake, and found his teammate.
Whistle on the inbounds pass. Looks like they're going to get Andre Wilson on the inbounds pass. And now we go to another media timeout, the under 12 media timeout. We go. So 40-38, Dixie State leads this one, 11:41 to go. One more media timeout, and we'll be back on the Trailblazer Basketball Network.
It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Look back inside Burns Arena. Trailblazers lead this one 40-38, 11:40 remaining in the second half. Skyhawks get the ball across the timeline. Ball controlled by Alex Semideni. Now over to LaRose into the corner to Whitman. He picks up his dribble now, trying to find Boatwright at the high post. He does that. Boatwright hanging on a pivot. Now he'll put the ball on the floor. Gives on a dribble handoff to Whitman. Looks to penetrate, is cut off by Dub Price. He'll give to Biggs, and he'll get called for the travel. Dixie State bench was begging for it, and he got off balance and was called for the travel.
Well, it was 3 seconds on the shot clock. Fort Lewis didn't realize it. So, it was just about ready to be a shot clock violation. Another great effort defensively for Dixie. They're doing a better job on screens. Notice that time they were switching and doing some things a little bit different in the second half. A great adjustment by the coaching staff.
Fort Lewis comes out in a little bit of a three-quarter court, low-pressure defense. Now they back up into their 2-3 zone. They've played in all night. Andre Wilson, angle left. He'll give to Wade Miller in the corner. Now back to Dason Youngblood. He'll penetrate, gets in, fakes a jumper. Dub Price's 15-foot jumper on the baseline is no good. Rebound to Otis Iekapolar. He gives to Semidani. He'll cross the timeline, guarded closely by Dason Youngblood. He'll give it up to Kevin Biggs. Now back to Semidani around the perimeter. We go in the hands of Semidani. Biggs on the angle right. He'll give to Beasley. Now back to Whitman. Trying to dribble, fakes right, goes left against Wade Miller. Good defense, but a foul on Wade Miller. Pretty good defense on that one as Whitman tried to go all the way to the paint. And Wade Miller thought just put his hand straight up, but we'll see the replay where the foul was called.
Looked like they called it with contact in the lower body. 4 seconds on the shot clock. Wade Miller doing a good job riding with him, forcing him away from the basket, making it go somewhere different than he wanted to go. But once again, shot clock down to 4 seconds and a foul.
Thought I might have seen at the end of that replay, might have got him there on the wrist potentially. Yep. On the replay, I think it was a good foul call by the referees. From our angle, it's tough to see down on that end of the floor. The first free throw missed by Will Whitman. His second one also too strong. Rebounded up Price. Free throws becoming an issue for Fort Lewis. In the second half, Dason Youngblood controls. He gives the Dub Price to the high post. Try to entry pass it in to Matt Conway. Errant pass was tipped away and stolen by Fort Lewis. Semideni now gets it back over to Beasley. Semideni running the offense, passing out along the perimeter. Now into Yeka Polar. Bad pass thrown away and stolen away by Dixie State. Dub Price grabs it, gives it to Dason Youngblood. He tries to penetrate. 16-foot fading jumper, no good. Long rebound is tipped and controlled by Fort Lewis. Kareed Johnson has it. He'll cross the timeline for the Skyhawks. Alex Semideni running the offense, setting up the play. Dribble handoff with Johnson, now over to Whitman. And a whistle. We've got a foul on the Trailblazers. Gonna give it to Dason Youngblood. His third team foul against Dixie State. 9:24 remaining. Trailblazers lead this one 40-38. A little bit of a scoring drought on both sides. Been a few minutes since either side has scored a point. Skyhawks running the offense. Ball is stolen away by Dub Price. He's got a 2-on-2. He goes all the way to the basket, splits between two defenders. Layup is no good, but a foul, a hard foul against, looks like Otis Iyeka Polar. No, they're going to give it to Will Whitman. Could have been called on either one. Dub Price got a good job of splitting between two defenders, draw the contact.
Yeah, great attack by Dub. It's what you want to see. In the open court like that, you want to attack the basket. Go at it strong and anticipate the foul, but don't let it scare you or affect your shot. Dub did a great job of just being aggressive and going right to the rim.
First free throw by Price is good. He's got 7 points for the Trailblazers. 60% free throw shooter on the season is Dub Price, the 6'7" redshirt senior from Draper, Utah. You see there again, another good angle from our CEC TV crew. He'll make the second one. We're spoiled here at Dixie State. We've got a tremendous CEC TV crew that giving you all the camera angles you see tonight. All student run. They do a tremendous job. We thank them for all they do. As the Skyhawks bring it into the front court now, controlled by Wyatt Hayes. Guarded closely by Andre Wilson, and Andre Wilson stole it away. He'll go up and in, lays it up and in. Andre Wilson, a good steal, and then a layup on the other end.
You know, Coach Judkins is right away getting his team right into the press. 2-2-1. Andre Wilson doing a good job of converting, but now it's back to defense. You know, Dixie making this run with their defense.
Kareed Johnson controls on the angle right, picks up his dribble, cross-court pass to Hayes. Hayes now gives to Yeka Polar. Kareed Johnson, he'll try another three. He's hit 3 in this game. No good off the front of the iron. And a rebound to Wade Miller. Jack Pagankoff quickly in the front court. He gives to Dub Price. He'll try a 3. No good, short. And Semideni pulls down the rebound for Fort Lewis, and he'll slow down the tempo. 44-38. 8 minutes remaining in this one. Trailblazers lead it. Entered halftime trailing by 8. Went on a tremendous run to start the second half. As Iyeka Polar tries a 3, no good. Rebounded up Price. He'll hand off to Jack Pagankoff, who will walk it across midcourt. Over to Andre Wilson on the angle right. He'll run pick and roll with Dub Price. Now back to Pagankoff. He'll run pick and roll with Dub Price. Pagankoff penetrates, gets into the key. Kick out for 3 points. Wade Miller, and bang! Wade Miller with a 3-pointer off the penetration from Jack Pagankoff.
big difference between the first and second half. Second half, Dixie penetrating and really getting some good penetrating kick shots out of that zone. Much better the second half.
Trailblazers now lead by 9, 47-38. 7:10 remaining in the second half. Keep on to say fourth quarter and third quarter. I just did the women's game. Of course, they do quarters. Here in men's, we go halves. Timeout is called by Dixie State. We'll go to the under 8 media timeout. But let's go down to our sideline reporter, Kylie Young. What do you got for us, Kylie?
The Dixie State bench was electric to start the second half, but about halfway through, they started getting a little quiet. Coach Judkins turned to the bench and says, "Come on, let's get going." Immediately after that, Wilson with the steal and the layup, and they've just been helping keep this team going, and now have taken to this lead up 47-38, their largest lead.
Thanks, Kylie. Yeah, you mentioned it. I mean, the Trailblazers have ramped up the defensive pressure in the last few minutes to go on this extended run. We talked about it. It was 33-25 at halftime. Since then, it's been a 22-5 extended run for the Trailblazers. A tremendous start to the second half.
That's right. And you look at some of those key statistics. Number one is Dixie's only given up one offensive rebound, and that was kind of a cheap one. It was a long rebound off of a three, so really not much to it. But much better job on the rebounds. Much better job attacking their zone and getting high percentage shots, and doing a much better job from shot selection. Dixie currently shooting almost 40% from the field, so you've seen the shot percentage, field goal percentage go up, and that's based on just being patient, sticking within the offense, and trusting in good teamwork.
8 of 17 for the Trailblazers in the second half from the field. Like you mentioned, bringing that field goal percentage for the game up to nearly 40% after 34% in the first half.
Shot clock.
Shot clock down to 3 for Molina. That one, you don't recognize it's going to be a shot clock violation by the referees. That one does go off. Didn't see the shot clock.
It was a great block by Beasley, but another great high-low play by Dixie. But unfortunately, they didn't able to convert. But great job offensively.
Skyhawks cut the lead to 7. Under 6 to go now. 47-40 lead. Trailblazers lead. Boatwright dribble handoff with Simadeni. He'll give it to Boatwright on the low block. Layup is no good. Offensive rebound to Beasley. He'll go up and he'll be fouled on the subsequent layup attempt. We'll give it to Quincy Matthews, his third. Seventh team foul against Dixie State. Now they're in the bonus. Beasley, however, getting 2 shots, going up for the layup. A shooting foul, obviously, on that one. Beasley getting 2 free throws from the line. His first one is up and good.
Now, Beasley averaging 17 points a game. He's been relatively quiet this second half. Dixie's done a good job of taking him out of it, but that dunk got him going. He's up to 13 points right now, and you can see that his energy's picking up, and he's starting to get back into his groove.
Second free throw off the back of the iron, but Trailblazers can't control the defensive rebound there, and the Skyhawks will regain possession underneath their own basket. Shot clock was down to 29. That should be reset. Yeah, they do reset it. Initially, Zach Frampton grabbed the rebound. I think he had a foot on the line. That's why the shot clock went down to 29. But back up to 30 for the Skyhawks. They'll inbound the outlet pass to Markel Beasley. He gives Simadeni back to Beasley. On the angle right, guarded by Zach Frampton. Now back to Beasley on the low block. Julian Decree there in defense. Good defense by Decree. Beasley gets his own rebound, and Decree grabs the second rebound attempt. And a technical foul has been called on Bob Pytrak, the Fort Lewis head coach. He is outside of himself. He is livid, giving it to the referees on a no foul call on Beasley on the other end, and a technical foul has been assessed. Bob Pytrak was very upset with a no call on that end of the floor.
Well, he's definitely upset, and you know it's what he's asking for is a contact, right? He's got Beasley going up a few times and wanting contact, but watching that replay, the refs have been pretty consistent. It's been a physical game from the beginning, and he didn't get that call. Dixie didn't get that call the first half, and they're certainly not getting it in the second.
I think I'm based on that replay, I mean, looked like Decree and Dub Price were both straight up as Zach Frampton hits the first free throw. I think that was a good no call. I'm not sure what the gripe is. Maybe it wasn't on the second layup. Maybe it was on the initial penetration by Beasley is where Bob Pytrak had his grief. But nonetheless, 2 free throws good for Zach Frampton. And he's got the lead back up to 8, 49-41, 5:23 remaining in the second half of this one. Should be a good one down the stretch. Zach Frampton controls for the Trailblazers. He gives to Dub Price. He'll penetrate, now cut off. Picked up his dribble, give back to Jack Pagankoff. He'll pull things back out and set up the offense for the Trailblazers. Into Dub Price, now across to Zach Frampton. Cross-court pass to Pagankoff. He'll try to penetrate, gets to the low block. Back out to Frampton. He drifts to the angle right. 4 on the shot clock. Jack Pagankoff forces up a 3, no good. 2 clangs off the iron, and the ball comes out, rebounded by Brendan Boatwright. Molina into the front court now. Hands to Beasley. Lost his dribble. Stolen away by Zach Frampton. He's got a 1-on-2. He kicks it back out to Quincy Matthews, and he'll pull it back out. Not having the numbers. Smart play by the Trailblazers to use some clock. Jack Pagankoff gives to Frampton. Now to Dub Price. Back to Pagankoff. Quincy Matthews drives baseline. Ball is shot and blocked. Good defensive play there by the Skyhawks. Ball didn't hit the rim. 6 to shoot for the Trailblazers. Pagankoff gives it to Frampton. He'll try a 3-pointer. Bang! Zach Frampton, 3-pointer off the assist from Jack Pagankoff.
Heads-up play there to recognize there was only 6 seconds on the shot clock. Get right back into their offense and find a shooter.
Markel Beasley on the other end. His layup is no good. Offensive rebound is no good. Beasley goes up again on a third attempt. This time a foul is called. Layup is no good, and Beasley will go to the line to shoot 2. That play, Beasley just said, I'm going to go get the offensive rebound. He did it 2 times. Got the foul called on the third one. We got the under 4 media timeout. Last media timeout of the game. Trailblazers lead this one 52-41. We'll have the finish right after this 60-second timeout and back on the Trailblazer Basketball Network.
It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Back inside Burns Arena, Markel Beasley's first free throw, no good. He will get one more. Trailblazers lead this one 52-41 as Beasley's second free throw is good. 3:57 remaining in the second half of this one. Beasley now up to 16 points, just under his average of 17.1 points per game.
You know, that dunk he got earlier was crucial. He was quiet. He was out of his rhythm, and that got him going a little bit. He's their scorer, and right now in this game, it's all him when it comes to scoring late in the second half.
I mentioned the free throws becoming an issue. 5 of 12 from the free throw line are the Skyhawks in this game, really becoming a factor in this one. Pagankoff looks to penetrate, gives to Wade Miller. Now Frampton gives to Julian Decree. He'll go up and under. Good layup by Julian Decree.
Great teamwork. You know, once again, the ball moved side to side. There was some good penetration, great movement without the ball, and Julian Decree found himself right where he's comfortable, right under the rim.
Molina now trying to penetrate on the other end. He'll kick out to Johnson. He'll try a 3, no good. Long rebound out to Molina. Over to Simideni. He'll try to penetrate, goes to throw it down, and a foul is called on the block. Julian Decree went up to stuff that one. Alex Simideni went to throw the hammer down, and Julian Decree, oh man, that was a good block, I think. Julian Decree went up and met him at the rim and was called for the foul.
It looked just like a volleyball block, like you would see in a volleyball game. Both hands straight above his head. He jumped straight up, did a great job of protecting the rim. You know, when somebody gets beat, somebody's got to step over and protect the rim. And Julian Decree doing a great job of going straight up. He left his feet. He was in the air. But nonetheless, he protected the rim. And that's exactly what you want your big guy to do. Contest those shots and not let anybody dunk it.
Simideni makes both free throws. How about this? Alex Simideni averages 12.6 points per game. That's his first 2 points of the game. That comes with 3 minutes remaining in this one. Wade Miller now controls for the Trailblazers on the angle right. He'll back things out. Entry pass, high post to Decree. He'll find Dub Price cutting to the basket. He'll lay it up and in.
Well, it's high-low. Dixie has picked that zone apart with their high-low passes. Look, I would, without even looking at the stat sheet, think that their bigs have just as many assists as the guards.
Long three-point attempt by Molina is no good, but the offensive rebound is controlled by Iakopolar. He'll try a 15-foot step-back jumper, no good, but a whistle. Going to have a foul. Loose ball foul going to be on number 20. That's Andre Wilson, his first. 10th team foul into the double bonus now are the Trailblazers. How about the foul disparity? 10-3 against the Trailblazers. Hasn't paid really that much of a dividend for the Skyhawks. Struggling from the free throw line as of late. They've hit their last 3 in a row now. Of course, that I've mentioned that they went 5 of 12 up to that point in the game. Simideni gets that one to go.
Well, also a key statistic right here is Fort Lewis has committed 19 turnovers to this point. 19 turnovers and 8 assists, where Dixie is even with 11 turnovers and 11 assists.
56-46, Trailblazers lead by 10. Under 2.5 to go in this one. Andre Wilson controls in the front court. Standing on the Dixie State D logo. Now he'll penetrate, goes right to left, gives to Dub Price, back to Wade Miller. Thought about a 3. He'll penetrate, now is cut off. Kicks out to Wilson. He'll try to penetrate. Kick out to Wade Miller. Open three-pointer for Miller. Bang! Nice play by Andre Wilson and Wade Miller going two-man game, and Wade Miller drills the 3.
Another great possession. The execution for the second half has been the key for Dixie getting that 13-point lead.
Simideni now, he'll pull up from 15 feet away, and he'll knock that one in. Simideni coming to life. It is too late for the Skyhawks. He's got 6 points in the last couple of minutes. Trailblazers still lead it, though, 59-48, minute and a half to go. Andre Wilson being guarded closely by Will Whitman, and he'll be called for the travel. Whitman bumped him and got Andre Wilson off balance. No foul was called instead of travel going the other way for the Skyhawks.
Well, we talked about the refs being consistent with the physical play down low. They've been calling that. They've been very inconsistent with the guard play up top. Remember, the first half, there were a few calls that were very controversial.
Simideni kicks to Whitman. He'll try a 3, airballed it over the top of the rim and out of bounds. Last touched off the Skyhawks, and the Trailblazers will regain possession. John Judkins wants a timeout, and he'll get it. Just a 30, though. We'll keep it right here. Trailblazers lead this one 59-48. Like you mentioned, you said it a couple times throughout the second half. Dixie State doing a very good job of working the high-low game, something they weren't doing in the first half. They were relying mostly on moving the ball around the perimeter and just taking up the best three-pointer they got at that point. But in the second half, a very different game plan for Dixie State. They've been working the high-low game, and that's where they've been doing the most of the damage.
Yeah, the bigs have done a better job. That last possession, Coach Judkins did his trademark foot stamp. You know, the ball's moving around in the zone, and he stomped his foot and pointed to Julian Decree and said, "Get to the high post." He flashed to the high post. The pass was made and had a great high-low. So it's clearly the game plan to attack the Skyhawks zone right in the heart, right in the middle of the key. Get that high-low, make a decision. We've also seen some three-pointers that have been skip passes. They get it to the high-low, they look opposite, get it to the other end to find a shooter wide open.
Not only that, I think Trailblazers offensively, they've been cutting more. I think backdoor cuts and different cuts like that, and that's really opened things up for them as the Trailblazers turn it over. Skyhawks in desperation mode, 1:10 to go, down by 11. And this ball is stolen away initially by Zach Frampton, but then he falls out of bounds. And the ball will be given back to Fort Lewis. Weird sequence of events. The Trailblazers inbounded it, tried to get Julian Decree all the way down court. The ball was tipped and stolen. And then obviously stolen back by Frampton, who landed out of bounds. Give it back to Beasley. He'll fix the 3. He'll penetrate. He'll get into the lane. He'll get an offensive rebound and lay his miss up and in.
Another offensive rebound. You know, Dixie did a great job keeping him off the glass earlier, but as of late, they've had a hard time keeping Beasley off the offensive glass.
Now a foul on the other end on Fort Lewis. Give it to Otis Iakopolar, his third portion of the game now, where obviously we talked about it earlier. The foul discrepancy is now in the favor of the Trailblazers because they're not in the bonus yet. Fort Lewis has to foul multiple times just to get it into the bonus, and that's obviously, talked about it in the women's game earlier, they weren't in the bonus either. They had to foul 2 or 3 times in order to do so, and now timeout called, not able to get the ball inbounded, and like you mentioned, like I mentioned, the foul discrepancy, really key down the stretch here.
That's right. With 56 seconds to go, it's a 3-possession game. Dixie up 59-50. Coach Judkins making sure that he's got all the shooters in the game, knowing that, hey, they're probably going to try to foul and try to get that foul count up so Dixie can shoot some free throws. But the next 56 seconds is all about taking care of the ball, using some clock, and then not letting those Skyhawk shooters get loose early. They can get back into this very quickly with some deep threes, quick threes. You've got to make them dribble. You've got to get them out of the rhythm, force them to take a bad shot, and then no offensive rebounds.
We saw it in the women's game, kind of a same situation down the stretch. Dixie State was down by about 7 points with about a minute to go and got it down to 3 and had a chance to take the lead. Obviously, we hope that doesn't happen in reverse in this game as Zach Frampton triggers the inbounds. He gives it to Dub Price, is immediately fouled by Kareed Johnson. Just the 5th team foul. Still got at least 2 more. Still got 2 more to go before we get into the bonus. If you're Fort Lewis. Zach Frampton once again triggers the inbound. Fort Lewis not fouling now, trying to get a steal or a backcourt violation. Now they foul. Give it to Will Whitman, his 3rd. Now 6 team fouls, 1 more, and we're in the penalty. 50 seconds remaining. Trailblazers lead this one 59-50. Inbounds now to Pagenkopf. He's fouled, tied up immediately. And now finally, after 4 fouls, we're in the bonus. And Jack Pagenkopf will be shooting 2 free throws to try to ice this one for the Trailblazers.
Yeah, chewed up 10 seconds. Fort Lewis trying to foul and try to extend the game a little bit. So now it's just down to free throws. If Dixie can make their free throws, communicate on defense, and no offensive rebounds, that's going to be the key in the next 47 seconds.
Free throws, not a strong suit of the Trailblazers this season. 69% as Jack Pagenkopf hits the front end of the 1-1. Tonight, so far, however, pretty good. 10 of 12 from the free throw line. That's really been a major difference in this game. Pagenkopf takes a long look at the rim, flicks it up and in. Pagenkopf wears that black sleeve on his left arm and floated that one up and in, connecting on both free throws. The other end, a dunk by Iyeka Polar puts it in. 35 seconds remaining. Wade Miller now has it for the Trailblazers. He is immediately fouled, and he's not the one you want to foul. No. 100% free throw shooter on the season, obviously. Something probably not going to maintain throughout the entire year, but a very excellent free throw shooter in Wade Miller.
Yeah, if you look at Fort Lewis, they come in scoring 76 points a game. Dixie holding them to 52. A great effort the second half.
Wade Miller connects on the first. He's got 14 points. He's hit 3 threes this evening. And a pure stroke and good on the second. 63-52, 30 seconds remaining. Trailblazers moments away from winning this one. A foul call. Going to be a block on Zach Frampton. Double bonus for Fort Lewis. It will send Alex Simideni to the free throw line for 2 shots. Shot clock turned off now, 25.9 remaining, but all but out of reach if you're Fort Lewis. First free throw off the back of the iron, no good. You can see the replay there. Frampton's feet were moving despite the contact from Simideni. His second free throw is up and good. 7 points for Alex Simideni, the 6'5 senior from Fort Collins, Colorado. Zach Frampton controls now, gives to Pagenkopf. Fancy dribbling between his legs. had an easy layup, but of course, shot clock turned off. Don't have to shoot it, and the Trailblazers will dribble it out. They're going to win this one 63-53. A good second half, a tremendous second half for Dixie State, outscoring Fort Lewis. Well, let me do some quick math here. 63-53 final was a 33-25 halftime score, allowing just 20 points defensively for the Trailblazers while scoring 28 points. Quick math is not my strong suit, Mike.
Hey, you got it.
So the Trailblazers win this one 63-53, a great second half. We'll see if we can get John Judkins with our sideline reporter, Ellie Young, for a quick little interview. But really key to this game, obviously, was the difference in the offense in the second half of the Trailblazers. They weren't settling for outside jumpers or three-pointers. They really focused on getting the ball in the rim, or down low in the basket. We've got Kelly Young down with John Judkins on the sideline. Let's go down to Kelly Young.
3, 2.
You guys outscored the Skyhawks 38-20 in the second half. What was the difference to the start of this one than the start of the first half?
Well, I thought our energy was a lot better. We came out and we throw the first punch. Second half, we did that. And then we rebounded better. We still gave up too many, but we rebounded better. We started to run. That's where we're good. When we defend, rebound, and run, we're pretty good. And once we started that going, we thought we'd go. We had some good shots that first half. We just missed them. Second half, we relaxed a little bit more and got the ball inside better and got some easy baskets.
Wade Miller, 15 points off the bench, leading scorer tonight. What does it mean to the team to have someone that can come off the bench and be a scorer?
Well, he can shoot the ball. So when teams go zone, he just licks his lips because he's really excited for that one. So we did a good job finding him. He's a good catch and shoot guy. And I wish I had another one like that, so it's just not him. But he's been shooting the ball extremely well, and the team knew that, so they tried to get him the ball at certain times, and it paid off.
You've got another one tomorrow night. What's your focus going into that one?
Well, the last 2 home games, or 4 home games, we win Friday night and come out and lay an egg on Saturday and lose. So that's going to be the focus, is we got to be ready to play. The team we play tomorrow is a lot more athletic. They're long, they jump, they drive it. We got to do a better job defensively.
Well, thanks, Coach, and good luck tomorrow night.
Are you facing?
Thank you. Good?
Inside from the online. Jeez. Coach Judkins there, obviously, he talked to, about Wade Miller off the bench, and such a weapon when you have a tremendous three-point shooter in Wade Miller coming off the bench, and someone who can get you 15 points like he did tonight. Very, very versatile weapon in Wade Miller.
That's right. He was shooting those shots in the first half. They were getting the same shots in the first half, but it's how they were getting in the second half that was important. That inside out, those rhythm type three-pointers where high post, Julian Decree or whoever it is looking opposite and finding Wade. He also had some in transition where you've got smart guards that are bringing the floor down, knowing that he's trailing and he's there. And those trailing three-pointers and the ones in the zone where they were moving the ball and penetrating and kick, those rhythm threes are much better than the ones that were forced in the first half.
4 of 9 for the Trailblazers from deep in the second half. That was a huge difference after going 2 of 12 in the first half. 12 of 24 from the field, 50%, improving drastically from the first half, going just 34% on 10 of 29 shooting. They finished the game 22 of 53 overall and 6 of 21 from downtown. I mentioned the free throws. They finished 13 of 15, 86%. That was key down the stretch. Missed a couple of them free throws. Adversely, the Skyhawks go 10 of 18, 55%. That was a huge difference in this game. Most games come down to how you shoot free throws in the end. Markel Beasley for the Skyhawks, he got his 18 points, got back to his season average. But I think the Trailblazers, the difference really for me was the way that they played defense against Alex Simideni. He averages 12.6 points per game, but was held scoreless until about the last 5 minutes or so of tonight's game. Finishes with 7, but very good defensively to say, hey, Markel Beasley, go get yours. That's okay. We're going to shut down everyone else.
That's right, and Dixie did a good job of making some adjustments. And, you know, Markel Beasley, they came out in the second half and kept the ball out of his hands and made some good adjustments. But like you said, that Semedini, towards the end, he started to get hot, and he started to move the ball and finding him. And Dixie made a good adjustment there as well. But great job overall. You know, when you look at it, Dixie's 9-1 when they shoot better field goal percentage than their opponent. And that second half, they were getting much higher percentage shots. They were much more patient, moving the ball, and that was the key. Fort Lewis did a good job the first half of forcing Dixie into some low percentage shots, and you can see what the result was the first half. Second half, much better job finding their teammates and working together and playing together as a team.
Wade Miller, as we mentioned, finishes with 15 points, 3 of 5 from downtown, 5 of 8 overall from the field. Matt Conway, he had 11, 3 of 4 from the line and 5 of 9 from the field. 10 points was chipped in by Dub Price. He played a very crucial role off the bench. He grabbed 4 rebounds, had a couple of steals, 3 steals in fact, and a couple of assists as well. 9 points for Jack Pagankoff, controlling the offense for the Trailblazers. 8 points for Julian Decree, as well as 8 points for Zach Frampton. And Andre Wilson had a bucket with 2 points. Very, very good second half for the Trailblazers. They get the win, 63-53. Mike, let's hand out a campus dining player of the game. Let's give it to you. Who you got?
Wow, I think player of the game, I'd give it to Wade Miller. You know, his 15 points and his 3 for 5 from three-point line, 2 for 2. He hit some big free throws down the stretch. He really made an impact on the game. You know, looking at it, he didn't have any turnovers. Did a very good job of playing under control. I would definitely give the campus dining player of the game to Wade Miller.
Jimmy John's play of the game. I'll do this one. I really like the play. It was in the second half. Jack Pagankoff penetrated, went from right to left, got to about the high post area, the left junction, and caught Julian Decree on a backdoor coming from the baseline. Decree went up and under in a reverse layup. I really liked that play. That was kind of the essence of what the Trailblazers were doing in the second half in order to have so much success and outscoring their opponents 38-20 in that second half. Got to also mention Julian Decree had 2 early fouls, but I think played very, very well down the stretch, played very well defensively and then offensively as well. Had a very, very good night on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, I thought Julian Decree did a great job. You know, he picked up 2 very quick fouls early in the game and found himself on the bench. But picking up those fouls didn't affect him. You know, he came out and he was just as aggressive and played just as hard. Did a very good job of contending and protecting the rim. He has some electric plays. I thought that play that they called a foul, but it was a block on a dunk. Does a good job of using his athleticism and doing a very good job of forcing the offense to go around him or go through him. And he's a big guy.
Let's see if we can, back in the truck. Not sure if we do have any second half highlights. If we do have any highlights, let's run those. We do. There's the backdoor pass. It was from Matt Conway. Instead, I said Pagankoff. But there was the play of the game I was talking about right there. And then, like I said, the chase down block by Julian Decree. And then he kicks out to Zach Frampton. And Frampton had a good job. He hit a couple of threes as well. And then, of course, Pagankoff finds Julian Decree there underneath the basket. Easy layup off the assist. And then the offensive rebound. This was the one where Matt Conway just grabbed a couple of offensive rebounds and laid it up and in. Good hustle play by Matt Conway. And then the backdoor pass to Dub Price, and he lays that one up and in. This is a good defensive play. Andre Wilson's only 2 points of the game, but a very crucial time getting a defensive steal and then going coast to coast to lay that one up and in. We talked about Wade Miller hitting another 3. He had 3 of those tonight. 3 of 5 from downtown, led 15 points, led the Trailblazers in scoring. And there, of course, Zach Frampton hitting another 3-pointer. He then penetrates, gives to Julian Decree. That was the one I was thinking of right there. That was the one, the backdoor up and under. And then Dub Price lays that one in with the left hand, Wade Miller again. 3-pointer from the top of the key. And those were your second half highlights. A great second half for the Trailblazers after coming out a little bit lackadaisical in the first half. As a reminder, both these teams, men's and women's basketball, will be back in action tomorrow against Adams State. Should be another couple of good ball games. That has been your Camping World post-game show. We hope to see you tomorrow. Trailblazers win this one 63-53. For Mike Olson, I'm Drayson Ball. Thank you so much for all of our CEC TV crew. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.
You've been listening to Dixie State Athletics on Radio Dixie 91.3, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. For more information on Dixie State Athletics, DixieStateAthletics.com. Thanks for listening to Radio Dixie 91.3.